This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, February 26th, in the year 1935, the New York Yankees do something that shocked a lot of people, but it was much necessary. They got rid of Babe Ruth, which was shocking. Anyway, Babe Ruth was the legendary player, as everyone knows, was kind of a curse. After the Red Sox got rid of him to the Yankees for over $100,000, and this is 1919, mind you. That Harry Fressie used it for Broadway stuff for plays. But anywho, Babe Ruth was a Yankee, and he was a Red Sox killer. As the Yankees became a team of destiny. Babe Ruth had done some great work with the Yankees and all that. However, by the time 1934 came along, he was a shell of himself. He was pushing 40 years old. He was actually 39 back in 1934, which was shocking. Well, Babe Ruth was a hero in 1932 in the World Series, getting the fact that he called a shot against Charlie Root. Ruth was productive in 1933, despite the fact he was 38. He hit 301 with 34 home runs and 103 RBIs, and leading 114 walks. The Yankees finished second place, 7 behind Washington. And Ruth participated in the first baseball All-Star game, July 6, 1933, getting a home run. Babe Ruth actually, in the final game of the 1933 season, actually pitched a complete game victory over the Red Sox. The final time he would do a pitcher. The funny thing was that Ruth was 5-0 in his pitching career with the Yankees, pitching 5 games, getting all 5 wins. 94 wins, 46 losses. He was a good pitcher. He almost got 100 wins as a pitcher. Anyway, Ruth played his last full season with the Yankees. Unfortunately, years of high living started to catch up with him. His conditioning was bad. He couldn't field or run. And remember, the DH rule was not in effect until 1973, so, man. He accepted a pay cut. He could still hit. He got 22 home runs with a .288 batting average, which isn't too bad. He got to be part of the All-Star team. But Ruth didn't do so well. Ruth knew he was finished as a player. He wanted to be a manager in baseball, and a lot of managerial jobs were opening up for him. He almost had the Boston spot in 1932, but he didn't want to leave the field. Rumors for Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Detroit were looking for Babe Ruth to be manager. Before the 34 season, Colonel Rupert, who owned the Yankees, wanted to make Babe Ruth the manager of the New York Bears, the top minor league squad, but he was talked out of it by his wife and business partner. Detroit thought they could use Ruth as player manager. Babe Ruth decided to go to Hawaii, and Frank Nevin, the owner of the Tigers, did not want to wait. The Tigers decided to make Mickey Cochrane player manager, and it worked, winning the 1934 World Series. The 1935 World Series, pardon. Ruth wanted to become the Yankees manager, but the problem was Joe McCarthy was a very good manager at the Yankees. Ruth and McCarthy didn't really have a good relationship and all that. Babe Ruth wanted to retire. Would retire unless Rupert made him manager of the Yankees. Ruth would actually circle the world with his wife, and actually had a barnstorming tour of the Far East in Japan. Ruth was actually introduced to cricket by an Australian player. He didn't like the cricketer's stance, but as a baseball batter, he could hit it and all that. Anyway, other clubs So Colonel Rupert thought that some club will take manager as a manager slash player. But the Philly A's gave him the only serious offer. Connie Mack, who was the owner manager, thought he could step down for Ruth. Unfortunately, Connie Mack said that Ruth's wife would be running the team in a month. So I think, in a sense, that it was a good idea. And then when Babe Ruth was barnstorming, the Boston Braves had an idea. Judge Emil Fuchs needed a gate attraction because the Boston Braves had troubles. They were okay in the National League, but they drew poorly, and they couldn't afford to rent a massive Braves field. Fuchs considered holding dog races when the Braves were not at home, but Commissioner Landis said no. So the Yankees decided to trade Ruth on this day, February 26, 1935, to the Boston Braves. He stated he would not release Ruth to go to another team as a full-time player. And the Boston Braves made Ruth a team vice president and would be consulted on all transactions. In addition to playing, it was made assistant manager to Bill McKechnie. Fuchs did promise Ruth a share in the Braves' profits, with probably being co-owner. And Ruth had a chance to become the Boston Braves manager as early as 1936. It was amazing and all that. It looked pretty good and all that. On opening day, he actually helped the Boston Braves win over the New York Giants 4-2. Remember, he's played in the National League for the first time. So it looked good. Ruth looked good for the first few games of the 35 season, but then it all went downhill. Ruth couldn't perform well enough and all that. His physical deterioration was more pronounced. He was good at the plate, but other than that, nothing else. He couldn't trot around the bases. He made a lot of errors, so much so that Braves pitchers told McKechnie they might not take them out if he was in the lineup. Ruth lost his hitting stroke and all that. And Babe Ruth realized that the Braves deceived him and had no intention of making him manager or give him any off-field duties. He later said his only duties as vice president was making appearances and autographing tickets. And then Ruth found out that Fuchs wanted him to put some money into the team. And Ruth was upset and all that. He basically wanted to retire. As early as May 1935, he wanted to retire. But owner Fuchs said no, because we have National League days, like honoring you at each National League ballpark. Ruth was not doing too well. The strange thing is that Babe Ruth made 1935 hit 3 home runs in one game in Pittsburgh, even though they lost 11-7. Ruth shocked everyone by getting 3 home runs. Again, the final home run of the game in Ruth's career sailed out of the park over the right field upper deck. It was 1935. Ruth thought this would be his last game. He would go out on top, but because he gave his word to ownership to play in Cincinnati, Philly, that was it. Unfortunately, he decided to retire June 2nd with a 181 average. Really terrible. But he did hit 6 home runs. Anyhow, the Braves were 10-27. Not bad. Could be better. But for some strange reason, the Boston Braves went 28-88 without Ruth. So they were 60 games below 500 with one Ruth left. That was shocking. The 38 wins in 153 games was the worst winning percentage in modern National League history. Even worse than the 1962 Mets. Oh, the Mets, those Mets were 40-120. I had a 250 win percentage. And the Braves were in solvency. So Babe Ruth was still around. But in the end, it was just a sad ending to a great career. And that the Yankees basically deceived Ruth. Not good, but what can you do? Anyway, I'm just having to do.